Hi everyone, my name is Michelle and together with my partner Julia, we've chosen the online digital platform Sphero to create a block code for storytelling with the use of this book, Have You Seen My Egg? So let's go into the platform, the app. We're going to connect our robot. The robot will line up and light up when it's connected. While it's connecting, our language target is pronunciation and the activity will cover reading, viewing, listening, speaking and building social skills. So once it's connected, we go into the program. We're not going to use their program. We're actually going to bypass all this and we're going to take it. All this is suggestions for what you can do, but this is the program we want to use. So the students have actually learned the movement, the light and the sound. So we're going to start with light. So we're going to use our block program. Start with a light, colour it up. That's our ball. And then we'll go with movement. We want the movement, the ball to go down our track. So let's take a look at our track. So we have the magpies, we have the frog, we have the snail, we have the shark, and like in the book, we have the little baby emu. So this is our track. So we need to go first, we need to go left, right. So it's quite an easy track, and that can be constructed in science with the children. So what we want to do here is we want to go, okay, we want to roll the ball slightly to the left. Then we want to go, how fast do we want to go? Anything, right? So we'll take it up to 20. How many seconds? Who knows? Why don't we do 8 for a guess? Okay, and then we want to go for a sound. Why don't we go for a random sound? Now we're heading towards the birds, so why don't we go for a baby bird? Excellent. Now let's take a look at our program. So we know we're connected. Up the top, there's an aim button. That same button allows us to actually move our ball as Sphero ball does. Rolls perfectly along the line. Lovely. First go. And it stops. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to stop the ball, stop the program. And we want to go back and now we want to actually build on the program. So what we want to do is, this is where our language comes in. We want the speak component. So what we want to do is put in this block. We push the button. So we want to do the language from the book and we want to start. So let's push the little speaker down the bottom. Oh no, I've lost an egg. And as you can see, it comes up. Now, what we can do is we build on that. We might do another random sound because we're in the birds, we're in the park. Why don't we go for an ambience? Go for a park sound. Fabulous. Okay, now we want to go in and start the book. So each of the little speech we add each time, but we can get it wrong and replay it and remake it. So why don't we try it again? Why don't we start with the next sentence? Excuse me, Maggie and Matt, have you seen my egg? It's big and green and oh, terrible. So then it comes up, the language comes up, and you can see, if you've not done it well, this will actually show up in the box. So see, you can see the 3 ands. I've stuttered. So what I want to do is I want to delete and redo it again. So let's start again. So I push, I go down to the little speaker. Excuse me, Maggie and Matt, have you seen my egg? It's big and green and it has a very hard shell. Very good. So that's actually come up correct. So why don't we push the program? Why don't we go back to the start?
Okay, so this is our criteria we use to evaluate our resources in Part A, and this is also the criteria that we used to create our resource in Part B. So basically it's broken down into 5 sections and then we split it up: exemplary, workable and inadequate. Okay, so this is just broken down into the first criteria down to the 5th. For our engagement criteria, the resource we created is highly engaging. Students are active participants, they're acting out the story, they're editing the story, and students getting to see the Sphero walk through the story they've created will mean they're more engaged. So our link to the targeted skill, our resource was created with the speaking component of English with the direct link being pronunciation. So students throughout the activity are getting many opportunities to practice this skill. You could have them explain what they're doing to the teacher or the ELD specialist if there's one in the room, or just even explain it to a peer. So in a classroom we would have already read this book with the students, so they would have had exposure to it and heard somebody else read it, so they're familiar with a lot of the words, which is going to make them more inclined to participate, which also links the engagement. But in this they're going to be focused on their pronunciation, but not to the point where they feel anxious about it. So we wanted to make sure our resource had a lot of modification opportunities. So we created our specific one to do with stage 2 students, and we just picked a book that would fit in line with that. The level that we created it for are students within the developing phase of English language learning. So you could easily just change out the book or change out some of the scaffolding to make it more suitable to whatever stage these students are in. So the resource we've created has a really clear scaffold, and they've been shown how to use it in science and in maths, and then in English they've already had exposure to the book. So navigating their way through this task will be really achievable for them, and they can just focus on practicing their pronunciation. So the last aspect of our criteria is their L1 integration and giving them opportunities to integrate that. Getting students to identify the animals in their home language, using that as some context for how they would explain that in English. Okay, and this is just our reference list of the images we used and then the information that we used to inform our criteria.